Hunters has returned on Amazon Prime Video, and yeah, 3 years ago, can you believe it's been 3 years? Yeah, Logan, Lerman, and Hunters Season 1 was us before the pandemic, and then Season 2 is us 3 years later. Hunters was an ultra-violent show. I loved it. If you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino films, especially like Inglourious Basterds or Django Unchained, you're gonna really love this show. Great performances. I've been a fan of Logan Lerman ever since 3:10 to Yuma. I thought he gave a brilliant performance in Perks of Being a Wallflower, and he plays Jonah here. His grandmother was murdered in the first season. Al Pacino is in it. He's also in this season too, in a very different way though. You know, there was a twist where you found out that Al Pacino was supposedly his grandfather. It wasn't his grandfather. It was actually the Nazi scientist that was named the Wolf that killed him. It was some doctor at the concentration camp, and he took his grandfather's identity, and it was also the murderer of his grandmother. So after that revelation, Jonah and the rest of the hunters that hunt former Nazis who are in hiding basically decide to team up and go global, not just the United States. And in the first season, they actually had real historical events, and they kind of gave them some embellishments, had a little bit of revisionist history. This one doubles down on that revisionist history. As a matter of fact, this one's kind of a different season entirely. The first season was a bit delved into history. It was still kind of grounded while also having some liberties. But season 1 of Hunters, I would say, is more like a graphic novel come to life. This one kind of ditches the comic book aspect of it and gives us a more grounded tale. I do love how this new season opens up. Logan Lerman, again, shows more of his range as an actor. And we get Al Pacino, but he's not back from the dead. He's not in Visions of a Ghost like I thought. He is actually shown in flashback. So this season is both a prequel and a sequel to Hunters Season 1. And in the show itself, some years have passed since the first season. This won't really go too much into spoilers, but if you've seen it, you know the band was together. This one, the band is apart, so the first couple of introduction episodes is basically giving us backstory to all the characters, again, showing us where they're at in life right now. The only thing with this show is that it has so many characters that I don't know if it really gives proper time to, let's just say, utilize them to their fullest ability. It doesn't give him time to shine. It doesn't give him time to really grow, you know? It's very strange in that regard, but I love it. I mean, it ties up loose ends. We get to see what happens with Travis. The actor who plays him plays such an intimidating, terrifying villain in season 1. And this season, even though I wanted him to have more screen time, he delivers. He is just off the wall here, because before he was creepy and robotic, I take orders kind of way. Now he's just unhinged. He wants revenge after what happened in season 1, after what happened to him ending up in prison. He gets out of prison, and now he basically wants to continue the Reich, so to speak. Jonah has basically gone hunting on his own, and he has a fiance, so we get to see a romantic relationship this season. We also get Jennifer Jason Leigh added to the cast, and she plays someone who is kind of the new leader of the Hunters in many ways. She basically takes over Al Pacino's role in this season, and she's also connected some way to Jonah, which I won't go into, but there's some great stuff between them two in this season, and she has some funny, kind of dark, morbid humor. You really don't know what she's gonna do, and there's some surprising, violent moments. Joe was captured at the end of season 1. Here, he's kind of like this brainwashed soldier who's with Hitler in South America. And that's a bummer, because I wanted to see more of Joe and the relationship he had with the Hunters. And we do get to see that. And there is an arc that he goes through, but I really felt like he was underutilized. And then there was another character, I forgot her name, the nun. And the first one was such a cool character that is kind of put into the background here. There's just so many characters that some of our favorite characters from season 1 are put into the background. But nevertheless, it does continue on the theories of what if Adolf Hitler survived and was in South America. We get to see that. We get to see Lena Olin's character return. And yeah, there's some crazy stuff there. The content is a bit more gratuitous and vulgar than the first season as far as like nudity and stuff. But if you want to see violence, it's there, and I love it. I love it when a show just has everything. I was a kid who grew up on HBO, so like the more the better. If I just see Nazis killed in violent ways, I'm all for it. But I would say that it is a bit overstuffed, and it's kind of like Penny Dreadful season 3, where you could tell it was going to go on more, or if it was going to be the ending, it felt kind of rushed. It felt kind of half baked. And that's what this one feels like. But this one feels like they kind of lost steam. And maybe they're going to have more seasons, and then they just realized they didn't have enough story to tell or something. I don't know. Something about the execution of it was not done in the best way, and it felt very slow at times. It was great when there was action, but I felt like the groundedness and the emotional arcs of all the characters were done much better in season 1. Something was missing, and some of that could have been COVID too, and the delay. Maybe it's just been so long. But I have to say, it works as like a second season, but also if you look at it as a sequel, look at it as an epilogue to the events of season 1, then it works very much as a season. And it does kind of end with a bang. The very ending is kind of like same old is going to happen, or it kind of ends a little bit on a whimper, but there's still excitement here and there. And then there's this episode that's the penultimate episode before that's just completely different from the rest of the season. Yeah, it reminded me of like the third act of Skyfall, or like Home Alone put together with a bit of like Jojo Rabbit. I know that doesn't make sense, but when you watch the show, you'll know what I mean. It's a crazy arc, but it just felt so disjointed from everything, especially what happened in episode 6 at the end. It just felt like a weird break. And we do get a revisionist history. And it's cool that that happens. There's a lot of parallels, like no shit. There's a lot of parallels to our current day and age. And never again should the Holocaust or anything like it happen. But, there's hate, unfortunately, still. And it's just kind of nuts that we're still dealing with the same shit years later. And this is like in 1979 it takes place. The prequel years are like during World War II, and then 1975 to 1977. But like, it's just weird looking at the parallels there, and then like themes that are still pretty relevant today. Jordan Peele did a good job with this show. I just wanted more out of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me waiting so long that I just felt a little underwhelmed this year. And it started out great. The performances are all top notch. Just the story. I don't know if it needed to go on more seasons. To me, it felt like it ran out of steam. Like they just had no more story to tell. And then they just doubled down on like the alternate history angle. So think of like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or Inglourious Bastards type of thing, That's pretty much what it's like, where it's just like a completely different history. Once you kind of go into that, the more you're going to enjoy it. But it is a big departure from season 1. And I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5 and a B. It's an awesome show. I'm going to miss it. I'm kind of bummed that this was the end, but at the same time, I can see it being the end. I mean, there's nowhere else to really go. Everybody had their arcs concluded. There's not much you can do, without it going on and on and on. And I'd rather a show end when it's still early rather than just prolonging the inevitable, And this was a neat show, and it really brought a focus to different things in real life stories. People should know about this, but I mean, there's kids now in school that aren't even taught about the Holocaust. I can't even fathom that. I mean, when we read like the Diary of Anne Frank when I was growing up, and we knew about history, there's people who debunk science and history. Like, what the hell's wrong with people? I don't know if it's just me or just the area I'm in, but like, it's just sad that there is a certain truth in a history that's being forgotten about and that's not talked about. And because of that, we run the risk of repeating the past. And that's one good thing that came out of this show for people who don't know. It's like they can start looking up for themselves. Like, yeah, this did happen. These group of people did go through this. Make sure it doesn't happen again, and make sure we don't have a freaking idiot leader who's just a megalomaniac wannabe dictator who incites the fears of ignorant people against the rest of their brothers and sisters in a society, Anyway, those are my thoughts on Hunters. I enjoyed it, but I was a little underwhelmed. Let me know, did you see Hunters season 1, or did you see it during the pandemic? Let me know. Have you seen season 2 yet? It just came out, so let me know this weekend if you've seen it, if you plan to see it, what you thought of season 1, what you thought of season 2. Just let me know down in the comments below. In the meantime, stay safe and healthy, everyone. Remember to get boosted and wear masks when needed. These cases are going back up. There's RSV, a lot of stuff. Everybody just be safe out there. In the meantime, you can subscribe for more videos and check out these other videos for more content. I hope everyone's having a wonderful New Year so far. Till next time.